Look at all these worker bees, all working for me so I can be rich. Yeah. Jokes aside, there is a silent crisis happening now in the workplace. And if you're under 35, you are probably feeling the effects of this. We are miles behind where our parents were at our age.
You're smart but can barely land a minimum wage job. And day by day, we are gradually realizing that all the things life promised us just ain't so.
Even after following the safe path, there is this feeling among the younger population that there is just something not right. No matter how good your work ethic is, life just doesn't seem to get better. Work is changing, and to not get left behind, we have to act fast. There is an entire generation realizing that we have been sold a lie. The promise that was made to our parents is slowly falling apart. Keep your head down, work hard, and success will follow. This was the formula that has built Western society as we know it today. In the past 50 years, the financial perspective for young people like us has turned into a giant catastrophe.
Even if we work as hard as possible, we still can't afford to live right now. Hard work isn't enough anymore.
If you take a look at the numbers of how much a house costs compared to how much the average family makes, then you see this weird shift in asset prices. So if you take a look at the median household income in the USA in 1970, it was $9,800. Houses were $23,000. So that means that roughly 2.3 times the annual income was the price of a house. If you fast forward to today, the median income is 80K, around 80K. And the average home price is 420K. So what this means is that houses in 1970 were 2.3 times the annual income, and right now it's 5.2 times. And these aren't even the craziest numbers. If you take a look at Holland, where I live, in 1970 from 3.6 times to 10.6 times. This means to have equal opportunity in the housing market. Now 2 people have to work instead of 1. And then we wonder why people have less children, right? And boomers keep saying that our generation is lazy, but there is something way deeper going on.
This week on The View, Whoopi Goldberg, who has an estimated net worth of over $60 million, accused the younger generations of struggling financially because they're just too lazy.
Sorry, if you only want to work 4 hours, it's going to be harder for you to get a house.
These numbers just are the tip of the iceberg of how our financial perspective has been a giant catastrophe. I believe we are living through the great awakening of the working class.
You were raised in a time when everyone said you could do whatever you wanted and pretended that you could have the American dream on a bachelor's degree in a single income household. You come from a hopeful time, but a time full of lies. I come from the veil lifted. I mean, does Big C expect the world but offer breadcrumbs? I guess. Do I have to sacrifice my nights and weekends? Well, sometimes, but and will they be happy to abandon us in spite of years of loyalty and service of profits?
You can spot this by seeing the trend of quiet quitting.
The concept of quiet quitting.
Quiet quitting.
Quiet quitting.
Quiet quitting, have you heard this one?
Not outright quitting your job, but you're quitting the idea of going above and beyond.
This financial pressure, together with the rapid rise in technology, and it's changing the conversation of what it means to survive, let alone thrive in this current economy. Work hard and success will follow. Man, that's just not true anymore. I believe that this unique time of rapid technology development, together with these financial pressures, is causing a split in young working class people. The people who keep playing a losing game and the people who are thriving in this economy in ways that our parents couldn't even imagine. The difference in these two groups aren't how hard they work, but the way they are working. These people are using what I call the unfair advantage principle. And when you understand this, it won't just change how much money you make. It will make you more happy, more fulfilled, find meaning in your work, and provides a kind of freedom that even your parents couldn't even dream of. I applied this principle, and now I'm on track to make more money alone than the average household income while working only 16 hours per week. I am happier than ever, and I even have time to make videos like this. I have the freedom to work whenever I want, and I didn't even have to follow formal education to get here. People who cling onto the idea that work ethic is the way you are going to make it will be in for a bad time. You can see this in quiet hiring.
Quiet hiring?
Yeah, you'll want to hear about this one. It's a way to obtain new talent without hiring new employees. Experts say it's just a fancy term for cutting headcount and giving more work to existing employees.
In this world, corporations have to answer to the shareholders. And so the incentives have definitely moved against those who work hard, because decades of these quarterly goals express themselves in exploiting workers more and more just to increase profit margins. It's the classic doing more work with less people, but there's hope. While most people are banging their head against this corporate wall, there is this new class of workers emerging. I call them the passion pioneers, who use their own unfair, unique advantages. These aren't just workers. These people are fundamentally changing the way we think about work in the coming decades. While a big part of this video is about the importance of pursuing your passion, it's not the classical do what you love and the rest will figure itself out kind of speech. I want to make this very practical for you. The key here is that in this tough economy, you have to be very intentional about this. Otherwise, you're gonna set yourself up for failure. First, we need to know what is actually going on here. In the past, the economy rewarded compliance and consistency. Technology has made it too easy to hire cheap workers from around the globe. So pure work ethic isn't enough anymore. We are living in an economy that ruthlessly outsources everything it can find. Anything that can be done by pure work effort. And they do it for much less money. And using this unfair advantage principle will even make you resistant against AI. Let me explain. Look around you. AI is already writing reports, analyzing data, and handling customer service.
University students being caught up using ChatGPT and other AI software to cheat on exams as well as assessments.
The only jobs that will survive is the thing that machines can't replicate. And I believe in my core that this is human creativity fueled by passion. I have a university degree in AI, so trust me when I say AI is only a tool to remix other people's work. It is never truly original. Even these image generations, they are just using other people's work to make a hybrid. So it can never be truly innovative, and that's where we need to find our edge. If you want to know more about this, it's a little outside of the scope of this video, but you can watch my Prince video that went viral, my first big win on this YouTube channel, where I will talk about where this inspiration, this passion comes from, and how we can all get access to that. And this new class of workers are going all in on this edge that we have over these machines. True originality. In the old economy, it was a risk to follow your passion. I believe it is now a requirement. It is a risk not to follow your passion, because then you will only lean on just the amount of work you can do. This consistency, this effort, this work ethic, all these things that we used to lean on are now becoming replaced. And the key is that these new workers are very practical and intentional how to do this. They see where their own interests are creating disproportional value for companies. They often use things like freelance contracting to get paid for what they are currently interested in. And this brings us to the fundamental principle that changes everything. The highest value isn't in what you can force yourself to do well, it is in what you can't help yourself to do well. It is so easy to undervalue the things you do out of passion because it doesn't feel like work. Because we have the feeling that work should be hard, that we should suffer for our work. And I believe that this is a big fat lie. I'm the proof that this doesn't have to be the case. We are so programmed by the system that our work and our hobbies should stay separate. But this is just a destructive lie that keeps you from living a thriving life that you love. To be intentional and practical, these are the things that you can do to help you find your unique advantage. You should keep 3 things in mind. You need to find stuff that is easy for you but difficult for others. That's number 1. Number 2 is that you want to find things that give you energy instead of drain you. And number 3 is that you want to combine this thing that you found with focused effort to unlock exponential growth. And let me explain that to you. So the thing that you have to know is that constantly following your interests will kind of express itself in an evolution. I went from simply being passionate about making YouTube vlogs 8 years ago to making after movies for events. And then I decided to expand my knowledge and learn Photoshop so that I could make thumbnails. And I dived into psychology to make the thumbnail concepts clickable. And now I'm working as a YouTube strategist, where in the past 1 year and 3 months, I helped this YouTube channel go from 10k subscribers to 70k. And right now as this strategist, I'm also now evolving from this YouTube strategy to also incorporate hiring people, optimizing workflows, thinking about the big vision of things. So the point is that this new kind of flexible work will grow with you. So the point is that you grow from low-level tasks to higher-level tasks. Of course, this is also present in some corporate jobs, but the key here, when you are not locked into a standardized position in a corporate climate, you have the freedom to naturally innovate, to naturally become better at the things that you like, find clients that answer that intrinsic call, and you will be way better able to provide the best service because you are naturally motivated to deepen your knowledge, to innovate, to be creative. And this is how these skills can compound and you can grow so much faster in your salary with that. And because you get paid way more, like 2 or 3 times more per hour than the average salary person, you have this extra time freedom where you can do whatever the fuck you want. If you upgrade to higher level skills, you can just renegotiate because of the nature of freelance work. And when you move from client to client, if you do this right, everything that you do aligns with your current interests. And what this feels like is that the things that you are interested in are suddenly the things that you are making money with. And I haven't experienced this thing that people say, like, yeah, when you make your hobbies your work, then it won't be fun anymore. And I haven't found that out. I believe that when there are enormous pressures on you, just like working 40 hours in a corporate job, and your hourly rate is like so much worse than when you would do it freelance, that yes, when you're exploited, stuff becomes not fun anymore. But when you have this freedom, shit gets really good, man. Because you can decide when you want to work, how much you want to work. When you do this well, with intention, the world is your fucking oyster, man. This is aligned value stacking in action. I now am even working with a YouTube channel that is so ridiculously aligned. They talk about neuroscience, they talk about the nature of reality, about philosophy. It's almost ridiculous how much shit is aligned, and you can do that too. But this path is not without its sacrifices. Of course, everything has a different side to it. And of course, you have to find your thing. So if you don't know what to do, this part is for you. Ask yourself questions like this. What do people ask you for help with that you don't mind doing? That is like a sign, right? Number 2, what activities make you lose track of time? And look for productive things that energize you. And what feels like play for you that feels like work for others? These things are really the way in to do what you want and to find work that is aligned with all of your interests. So for example, if you like to make music, find people who need music. In some comments on my past videos, I have seen that people say that it's hard to fund your own projects without guarantee for it to pay off. I'm not sure if it applies in all situations, but I imagine that even with this creative work, right, there are some versions of your passion can be done with one person maybe. I always had this dream of making this insane visual trip simulation, but I know right now, even right now, that it would take so much VFX work to actually do that. And I could have been in the mindset like, yeah, but then I have to fund this and I can't do that. But there are often these smaller ways that you can still explore these interests and maybe grow towards that project, right? Find people right now. Like, for example, if you make music, find people who need music, right? Maybe in the YouTube space, that they need custom tracks. There are possibilities. So, for example, also if you like to write, find people who can benefit from having a human writing scripts. And also if you, for example, like to plan vacations, if you're really good at that, there are people who need planners, right? So there are tons of possibilities here. If you like to turn your own home into a smart home, just scream that off the rooftops. People will hear about that and you'll grow that organically, like very slowly. Workflow automations, or if you're constantly helping others to solve their personal problems, maybe you can start a coaching business. There are tons of opportunities. To go back to the AI story and how things are replaced right now, I feel like we have to focus on skills or interests that require some level of creativity. You don't have to be an artist. What I'm trying to say is that AI and cheap work from around the globe will replace anything that doesn't require that deeper connection with yourself, with your passion, with your creativity, because that's where true originality comes from. AI can do that. There are so many areas within your line of work that require that human touch. That's like, in general terms, how I can speak most deeply about that, right? If you don't find these aspects in your job, you will get replaced. That is just the reality of the situation within the next 10 years. But luckily, it's not that hard. You just have to know what you're looking for. For example, things that seemingly aren't creative at all are very creative in certain areas. For example, planning and programming. But if you really drill down, programming is deeply creative. The way you write the code, the way you solve problems, this is all true originality, true creativity. An elegant solution is art. Also things like planning. You have to be creative to solve certain problems. For example, data entry. The most uncreative job you can think of. It's just entering data into Excel or something. But the creative aspect in such a job is that you could think about workflow optimizations. You have to find that creative part where innovation is required. Then you can build that out and actually start making money from it. So to actually get clients, you have to show them what you can do. send samples to a bunch of different people, showing them what you can do. So for example, if I was now an up-and-coming video editor, I would go look for YouTube channels who don't have any shorts channels yet. And then I would make some engaging shorts and would send that to them and say, hey, these first 2 or 3 shorts are free. If you like my work, this is the price for 30 of them, right? And this is, you just do this until some people say, yeah, fine. And then you have a freelance client. And if you don't have something that you can send, like if you have a service that is intangible, that doesn't have a product, you can help people for free and then put testimonials on your website to show your environment that you're serious about this shit, and then just talk passionately about your thing. And this is actually the way how I got started. I was passionate about making these little YouTube vlogs. You can watch them back if you want. And then people in my surroundings, because I was so passionate about that and was sharing it all around, people started reaching out to me. Oh, can you make this video for us? And blah, blah, blah. And then I just worked my ass off to over-deliver on every single thing. And I got referrals. So also what I did was just job applications on LinkedIn and just send them links to my video portfolio and just say, yeah, I could do this freelance for you, and just reach out, right? But yeah, as you start, at least for me, it was very hard. It sometimes feels very discouraging because this does come with sacrifice in the beginning. I needed to downsize where I lived. I lived in a van for a while. I delivered groceries to keep the lights on. Just took the time to let this video thing grow organically. And if you have money or time, you can spend money on advertisements, create content online for free. But what I found out is that so many people have locked themselves out from the inside. The biggest obstacle I see with many others is that they don't believe it's possible, or they don't believe they have special skills or creative skills. But we have to open the door in our minds before it opens on the outside, because if you don't believe, you won't even try. And that's a surefire way to fail. We've been conditioned that work should feel like work, right? And this programming runs so deep that people are oriented on work that is a real job, right? So please do these things to see for yourself that being a passion pioneer is closer than you think. Document your week. See who you've helped. Document what you did that energized you. Find people online who make money with a skill that you feel passionate about. Share what you love to everybody around you. That's how I got started. And find the moments where you lost track of time. Right now, there's a global shift happening. The old economy rewarded people for fitting in. The new economy rewards people for standing out. And the only sustainable way to stand out is to do something for work that energizes you. Imagine waking up 6 months from now, knowing exactly where your unique talents lie and where they create the most value. And you feel that you're on your way to a life that feels deeply nourishing and energizing to you. Wouldn't that be amazing? Work ethic won't save you anymore, but passion, properly leveraged, will set you free. The world doesn't need more tired hustlers. They need more energized innovators. Which one will you choose to be? Thank you for watching.